What happened in the fight that you did not expect?
Wasn't much different. You know, I can't see.
Imagine losing your vision, not from a punch, but from the glove meant to protect you.
Your hand naturally goes in this position. The UFC gloves are still like this.
These things are straight trash. They're very thin. There's like nothing to them.
The UFC spent 5 years and millions of dollars trying to fix this, but somehow they made it worse.
No, man, at the end of the day, like, they're gloves. Yeah, those gloves suck, you know?
The finger holes are very tight. That's why my hands are all cut up.
It really isn't gonna do anything at all for eye pokes.
This is the UFC glove scandal they don't want you to see.
Caught him with a spinning back kick. He's hurt. Eve got his back, and Eve took him down. Look how strong Josh is. Jesus!
From shattered hands to brutal eye pokes, fighters are paying the price for a glove the UFC refuses to fix. Despite millions spent and promises made, we're still watching fighters go blind mid-fight and break bones in the first round. Today, we dive deep into the dirty history of UFC gloves and why after all this time, they're still getting it so wrong.
And we're ready to start, ladies and gentlemen. I think this will be a very exciting bout. Here they go.
When UFC first launched in the 90s, it was chaos. No rules, no gloves, just raw violence. Some fighters wore shoes, some didn't. Some wore a gi. One guy even showed up wearing one boxing glove, just one. Shout out to Art Jimerson. It didn't go well. It wasn't until UFC 14 that gloves became mandatory. The goal was safety. The reality? That decision sparked decades of problems. Eye pokes, hand breaks, and a design that hasn't truly evolved.
Well, listen, everyone's ambition is to, ensure that we reduce, hand breaks.
Ask almost any fighter off camera, straight up. These gloves are trash. The worst part of the night is putting those gloves on. They rip your hands to shreds. My fingers are always cut up after a fight, they say.
The finger holes are very tight. That's why my hands are all cut up, because they sent them to us a month ago, and my knuckles started ripping.
The glove forces your hand to stay open. It doesn't curve naturally. That might not sound like a big deal until you realize how often it leads to accidental eye pokes or career-altering injuries.
Oh no! Accidental eye poke. Big spots against the sport's best. Oh, another poke. Oh, it was a poke in the eye. Yeah.
It's over.
Oh no, they're saying it's over. You can't see. It is. Wow. And Phil Davis is bummed out.
You've seen the replays. A fighter reaching out to defend, fingers extended, and boom, a thumb to the retina. The pain is immediate. The fight's over. Sometimes a career is too. I can't see anything out of my left eye. I thought I lost my vision forever. Then there's the hand injuries. A study from 2016 to 2019 showed that nearly 6% of UFC injuries were broken hands. That's not just bad luck. That's design failure. Fighters are snapping bones just throwing a jab. Why? Because the gloves offer minimal support. They're thin, stiff, and unforgiving.
I mean, I just don't understand why, how they thought this was going to solve the problem. They were like, new gloves, and our guys are still getting poked in the eye.
I feel like if you're gonna have the fingerless ones, Trevor Whitman's are the best. They're the best.
They curve down, right?
They curve hard.
Yeah.
But your hands stay in this position. Like, you have to struggle to do this.
Right.
Your hand naturally goes in this position. The UFC gloves are still like this.
These are the best gloves on the market.
Here's what really stings. Better gloves already exist. The Pride gloves from Japan? They curve the hand naturally, reducing eye pokes. Fighters love them.
I have full mobility in my hand. And when I have my striking surface, look at the striking surface. None of my knuckles are exposed at all. These are the best gloves on the market.
Then came Trevor Whitman's Onyx gloves, backed by science, tested by fighters, even praised by Dana White. But UFC wanted exclusive rights. When Whitman said no, they walked. Millions of fighters and fans lost out.
Okay, so it's curved right away.
Yeah, curved right away. And then when you...
That's way better. Yeah, like the old Pride gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After years of silence, UFC made a move. In 2024, they launched their redesigned glove with press tours, lab tests, and fancy stitching. We worked with athletes, a new era in safety. That's what they said. But fighters still got cut. Eye pokes continued. Some gloves wore out after one fight. Even Islam Makhachev had complaints.
They'd ever been in a fight.
Honestly, I don't like too much because it's become look very old after I using 2 weeks, And I ask you if they give me new one for the training.
Nice curve, but it falls apart, he said. Just months after launching the new glove, Dana scrapped it. UFC 309 brought back the old model.
Guys,
There were a lot of complaints about, we originally created these gloves to stop eye pokes, and you know, we had good intentions with them. They didn't work out, people weren't happy with them. So I actually made the decision, I'm switching the gloves. I want new the old gloves back. The new gloves are now the old gloves.
Why? Maybe John Jones didn't like them. Maybe UFC knew they failed. Either way, fighters paid the price. Michael Chandler? He'd rather go bare knuckle than wear those gloves. Gaethje? Loved Onyx. Said they curve right out of the box. Even Usman backed them. Fighters are speaking up. So why isn't UFC listening? Still the same problems. Pokes, cuts, broken hands. It's 2025, and we're still using gloves from a decade ago. UFC 302, UFC 308. New gloves? Same issues. And still no real answers. Why won't UFC switch to a proven better glove? Simple. Control. If they own the gear, they own the revenue stream. They control the branding. They avoid lawsuits. But it comes at a cost. Fighter safety, fan trust, and maybe the future of the sport. Whitman's glove was patented. UFC couldn't own it, so they walked away, and so did real innovation. Maybe change won't come from Dana White's office. Maybe it'll come from fighters. If enough top athletes speak up, if fans demand better, if the media keeps pressure on the issue, maybe the UFC has no choice but to evolve. Or maybe nothing changes. Maybe 5 years from now, we're still watching replays of eye pokes, fighters apologizing for injuries they didn't mean to cause. It's a pattern, a loop, and it won't break until someone makes it break. Will UFC ever admit they got it wrong? Will they ever prioritize fighter safety over control and ego? Or are we doomed to watch eye pokes and hand injuries on repeat while executives argue about patents? Let us know what you think in the comments. Should UFC bring in the Onyx glove? Are fans and fighters being ignored? Smash that like button, subscribe for more MMA deep dives, and protect your vision. Protect the fight, because this story isn't over.